On today's show, how much better can the Luka and Lively connection get? Is it still one of the most dangerous things in basketball? We'll talk about that and other things we're excited to see on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
We have Kyrie.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great, Rusty.
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Amazing.
Your team every day.
Still can't even build.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show. Making Locked On Mavs your first listen today. With the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day on any podcast platform. Leave a 5-star review, like the video on YouTube, and comment anything below. Let us know in the comment section what's something you're excited to see from the Dallas Mavericks this season. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And joining me from the great Slightly Biased YouTube channel, one of the knowers of ball out there. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
Just want to give a quick shout out to my Gunners. Big win on Sunday in the North London Derby.
You're still on the Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, hey, injuries, suspensions, they persevered and got a huge win.
Good for them. Oh, man. Today's episode, we'll talk about things we're most excited to see in the NBA. I've got a couple of things. I'm excited for a team that's in the Southwest Division. I'm excited to see them bounce back, but are they really a threat? Are the Grizzlies really a threat to the Mavericks? Talk about that. Talk about who else is going to make a leap from the rookie class last season or some other players. But I want to start here, Slightly Biased. Luka Doncic has not played many games with many different players. I was going through today thinking about things that I was excited to see for the Dallas Mavericks, and I stumbled upon a list of who Luka Doncic has played the most amount of games with. And some of the usual suspects, like guys you'd expect. Dwight Powell, number one on the list, has played 371 games, regular season and playoffs, by the way, with Luka. It's like, all right, that's the number one. Then Maxey at 2, Tim Hardaway, Dorian Finney-Smith at 311, Jalen Brunson, 255 games, Josh Green, 224 games, Reggie Bullock, 135 games, Trey Burke, the first one that really surprised me, 127 games with Luka. That's a lot of games they've played together. Kristaps Porzingis, 120 games over basically 3 seasons with playoffs is kind of nuts. Jaden Hardy at 10
That's
is
shocking.
the one that one shocked me. He's played 113 games with Luka, and he's basically played, a season and a half? Because he was in the G League his first season? That's wild. Boban at 11 with 94 games. Frank Ntilikina at 12 with 91. I mean, that list of players is not great.
91's not even a lot.
No, it was basically one season.
Yeah, that's one season with the playoff run.
With the playoff run. And so you think about that, and then you think about, all right, Luka and Dereck Lively have played 70-something games, or 70-something games together now with the playoff run. Their connection is, they've played 72 games together. Their connection is something that the Mavericks can build their entire team around, their entire offense around, their entire defense around with Lively. But I think that the Lively and Luka connection is something that we need to look at, and something I'm very excited to see this season because we're getting a second season of it. If you think about some of the players that he's played the most with, like the rim rollers, I started to go through. Count Dwight, 371 games. All right, he's the most. Do you count Porzingis, 120 games? It's like maybe as a rim roller, but not really. Boban, 94 games. These are the top 3 centers he's played the most with. You want to take a guess on who number 4 is? It's not Lively.
I mean, I'm trying to think about how long Willie Cauley-Stein was there.
77 games, he's number 4.
Yeah, that's not good.
Luka has played more games with Willie Cauley-Stein than he's played with Dereck Lively. And so I'm excited to see Dereck Lively surpass that number and to be the player that gets to, maybe 150 games this season with Luka and passes even Porzingis with a playoff run potentially. And so I'm excited to see how that connection grows.
It's hard to imagine how their connection could be better, but I mean, it just will. They'll know each other's game more and more. They'll know exactly. Dereck Lively will know exactly when to slip a screen or whatever the case may be, and Luka will know exactly where to hit Lively on these rolls. I mean, it is going to be fun to watch. And hey, say whatever you want about Dwight Powell. Those two do have great chemistry.
They do.
Those two are great pick and roll rim running threat. That's not the part of Dwight Powell's game that we have any questions about. So, the more that Lively plays alongside Luka, yeah, it'll be pretty exciting. I mean, I'm pretty pumped to see how those two, really Lively mainly, grow in year 2.
I'm going to throw this one at you too. Who do you think's played
Okay.
more games with Luka? Daniel Gafford or DeAndre Jordan?
Oh, that's an easy Gafford one.
DeAndre Jordan.
I don't even think that's surprising.
DeAndre Jordan 49 games. Gafford 48 games.
Oh, okay. Well, I know
Right.
they traded Jordan halfway through year 1.
Yeah.
So
Seemed like it was a lot of games though.
Yeah. Well, the trade deadline's like 50, 60 games into the season.
Right.
So it's not like it's like a halfway mark, but
Right. That's wild though that it's about this. It's basically the same with DeAndre Jordan and Daniel Gafford. And so
I'm gonna be real. I have like no memories of DeAndre Jordan really with the Mavs. Honestly, like it just feels like a distant, such a distant
season.
memory that I don't even. I know it happened, but I don't even really remember it.
I made a video for my personal YouTube channel. Like, are the Mavericks freezing out Luka Doncic? And it was the first video I ever did that popped off to like 300,000 views or something like that. Like, it got a ton of views. Yeah, the DeAndre Jordan's played more games than Daniel. So I'm going to throw in Daniel Gafford in here too, because I think their connection can grow even too. He can pass Willie Cauley-Stein next season and be like 4th or 5th on the list wherever Lively ends up. With the most games played with Luka. That's wild. I mean, those are the two best rollers that Luka's played with, and now they're getting a second season, and I'm excited to see that.
I mean, hopefully they're healthy enough. They could climb up to 2 and 3, right? KPU's at 80 to 102.
KP's at 120, so I don't think Gafford can get there, but I think Lively can.
120, huh?
He'd have to play 70. He'd have to play what? 7. I don't math. I'm not going to do math. I embarrass myself.
This is exactly why I don't apologize. I don't take anybody who says any KP thing in the national media seriously at all when it comes to the Mavericks.
120 games in 3 seasons, basically.
And how many of those games were like, oh, well, he's like kind of dealing with like a foot thing.
Can't get in a rhythm. It's always something like that. So that's something I'm definitely looking at is the connection between those guys. What's something Mavericks wise you're excited to see this season?
Can Jason Kidd prove all the haters wrong, including you and I?
Sure.
We're haters.
We were.
But I don't remember who it was. There's some poll going around or something, somebody ranking all the NBA coaches.
Yeah.
And they had Kidd at 18th, and it caused quite the ruckus. It is funny how hard I saw Mavs Twitter going after these people. It's like the big brother thing. Like, I can trash Jason Kidd any day of the week, and you cannot. He's a top 10 coach.
According to NBA Central, it's a CBS sports poll of top 30 coaches, and so Jason Kidd is at 18. So let's go through them. Stop me when you disagree.
Okay.
Taylor Jenkins at 17.
Stopping you right there.
Jason Kidd better than Taylor Jenkins.
Well, can I say one thing real quick before you continue down the list?
Do it. Go for it.
The Mavs are the only team in the Western Conference to make the conference finals twice in the last 4 years. That's it. The Nuggets haven't done it. The Suns haven't done it. The Warriors haven't done it. Only the Mavs. Continue.
So we did Taylor Jenkins. Quinn Snyder.
Sorry, the Hawks were such a disaster last year. No chance.
I mean, you could have said the same thing about Jason Kidd 2 years ago. But
True, but
Michael Malone of the Nuggets. Okay, I'm fine with that
one. Okay, whatever. He's a champion.
Greg Popovich, Spurs.
Wow, they got popped that low.
14.
You know what? Sound the buzzer for that grandpa. Last year was so bad at times.
He's lost
for the Spurs. We talked about it the last episode.
On Tuesday, we talked about why it's on purpose.
I know, but if it wasn't on purpose, then it was just malpractice.
Mike Brown, 13, the Kings.
No, sorry. Win a playoff game. Win a playoff series.
Chris Finch, Timberwolves.
Well, we watched those two square off a few months ago, and it was not pretty.
That's right. This one's kind of wild. Joe Mazzulla at 11.
I got to pull up this list. Who do they have in the top 10? Look, it's funny to make fun of Joe Mazzulla and stuff, but...
Tom Thibodeau at 10.
Okay.
Mike Budenholzer at 9. He's won a title.
Okay.
Ime Udoka at 8.
What's the argument for Udoka over Joe Mazzulla?
I don't have
Will
one.
Hardy.
I don't
I'm
have one. Will Hardy at 7 is wild.
This is the best. This might be the best job security thing in the world. Is if you're just coaching a young team that has like talent and more talent than people realize, because that is the case for the Jazz, or at least it was a couple years ago.
You just have to have genius aura.
Genius aura, and just again, inherit a roster that's a little bit more talented than people think, and win some games that you probably shouldn't. You're good for like the next 5 years. Like the next 5 to 6 years, you're good.
The top 6 is pretty good. Mark Daigneault, Thunder.
Okay.
Ty Lue, Clippers.
Right.
Steve Kerr, Warriors.
I'm sorry. I'm sounding the buzzer. I'm not a Steve Kerr guy at all.
Wow. I think
Really
Warriors
not.
fans would even sound the buzzer for you on that one. Rick Carlisle, Pacers.
I don't hate that. He's a genius.
We'll do both. We'll do both on that one. Nick Nurse, Sixers.
Genius.
Yeah. And then Eric Spoelstra, Heat.
It's actually insane how much like Eric Spoelstra's just on an island by himself. It feels like
It does feel like that.
you map it out. It's like, wow, some of these coaches are good. They kid ahead of Jamal Mosley.
Yeah, Jamal Mosley, Willie Green, Pelicans, Kenny Atkinson, Cavs, Doc Rivers at 22. It's kind of funny to me.
That's too high.
The NBA named him like a top 15 coach of all time.
That's too high for Doc Rivers.
JV Bickerstaff, Pistons, Billy Donovan at 24, the Bulls, Chauncey Billups 25. That feels too high. And then all the new
should
coaches.
be higher than Doc.
Darko, the Raptors, Jordy Fernandez of the Nets, Charles Lee of the Hornets, Brian Keefe of the Wizards, and then JJ Redick, 30th.
JJ Redick 30th. Wow.
Never even seen him coach yet.
Yeah, that's fair though.
So you're excited to see Jason Kidd prove some of the doubters wrong. I'm excited to see that. Oh, go ahead.
If they have playoff success again, where do you have to put Kidd in these coaching conversations? Because then it gets like kind of, let's say they go to the conference finals again at the very least.
Yeah.
Then it's so 3 out of the 4 years Kidd's been coached, they've been to the conference finals and like in an absolute bloodbath gauntlet of a conference.
It's true. It's very true. It's very
kind of
true.
some uncomfortable conversations.
Coming up, we'll have some more comfortable conversations. Talk about things we're most excited about. Will the Grizzlies make the Mavs uncomfortable next season? Talk about that and more.
You don't believe you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account. Use that code LOCKEDONNBA to see everything. Sports, concerts, comedy, theater, all kinds of things like that. Go see what is available for you. They have all kinds of great things and great tickets that you can go and check out. I've used Game Time a bunch, and I love because it gives you deals on last-minute tickets. Let's see. We've got Arkansas versus Texas A&M at AT&T Stadium. Cheapest ticket right now, $76. And I can go right now. I can see where it is. I can see what my view is. I can do the all-in feature. I just turn on the all-in pricing. Oh, love that. All-in pricing shows me exactly what I'm going to get and what the fees are going to be. They have 2 tabs right now for Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter. So if you're interested in any of those people, those stadiums, they have all kinds of dates on there for those concerts. Go check it out. Again, it's Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem that code LOCKEDON NBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks everybody for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. Appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show, listening to me and Slightly Biased talk about the NBA. If you want to hear other people talk about the NBA, including myself on Thursdays, go listen to Locked On NBA. Wherever you're listening to this, wherever you're watching this, Locked On NBA is there as well on that platform. So look up Locked On NBA. I'm there on Thursdays, and everybody else is great as well. Promise.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Slightly. We're talking about things in the NBA we're most excited to see. I want to talk about the Grizzlies for a second. I talked about them on Locked On NBA a couple weeks ago, actually. I'm excited to see the Grizzlies back because Ja Morant in the NBA makes the NBA better. The Grizzlies just being what they were last season. The Grizzlies, I looked this up. It was wild. The Grizzlies had 21 players on their roster average 20 or more minutes a game.
That's crazy. That's got to be a record.
Has to be, which, of course, a lot of them are playing like 5 games and 6 games, but a lot of them, there's a ton playing like 30, 40, something like that. They just had so many different guys in their roster. They had a player, I literally texted the Locked On Grizzlies guys this, because they had a player named Timmy Allen. Fake NBA player name, right? That's a 2K placeholder guy. He averaged 24 minutes a game for them in 5 games last season.
Couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
He wants Texas.
Honestly,
that's what I got.
you could tell me anything about him. I would say, all right.
He lives 2 floors below you.
Hey, first one-arm player in the NBA. I'd be like, wow, how did I miss that one?
Yeah.
Everyone was just that out on the Grizzlies, huh?
But I'm excited to see them back. Ja Morant played 9 games last year. Desmond Bane played 42 games. You forget he was out for half the season too. Jaren Jackson Jr. played 66 games, so he didn't even play that much. Marcus Smart only played 20 games for them. Like, they did not have their team at all. And I think they're going to bounce back. I'm excited to see it, but how much do you think it's a threat to the Mavericks, actually?
I mean, they're definitely a threat. The real question is, are we talking top, they're fighting for home court advantage, they're fighting to stay out of the play-in tournament, or they're like really contending for a championship, because that's where they were just regular season wise, top 2, top 3 seed when they were healthy. Now the West has changed. I think it's better now than it was those years, those past couple of years where they were that good. But we'll see. I mean, I think they were 7-2 or something like that in the games that Ja Morant played, those 9 games. And remember, they started their season so slowly that it felt like they were dead in the water. And then he came back for those 9 games, and it was like, oh, the Grizzlies they're going to be in the play-in tournament. And then unfortunately he got hurt. But yeah, they're interesting. And last season could be a blessing in disguise, because you saw, Desmond Bane do more on-ball stuff. You saw Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, I didn't like Jaren Jackson Jr. season one bit last year, but it wasn't really fair to him. I thought his defense fell off of a mountain. He had a 30% usage rate. That number just shocks me anytime I see it. He was top 10 in usage last year across the entire NBA, like Jaren Jackson Jr.
Was that like 36 last year?
Yeah, just for a framework, like Jaren Jackson Jr. was closer to Luka in usage than you would probably suspect, and
or hope.
It wasn't good. Yeah, or hope. That's the key one. Not the number you want to see for him. But then you had like Vince Williams Jr. was like this incredible story where this undrafted dude looks like a real rotation player. Gigi Jackson, who is hurt right now, but is Scottie Pippen Jr. Is Scottie Pippen Jr. on a team? Is he on the Grizzlies? Because he's one of the ones where it's like
he's not on their roster right now, so I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he ended up
he was not bad at all for them at the end of the season. And it's like, how much do you take like March stats seriously?
for a team that's like not playing for anything anymore at that point.
Right. When a guy like Xavier Simpson is getting 23 minutes a game. Huh? Who else?
They got a bunch of dudes.
Tazan Ivubaban. Tosan Iwuma.
The other thing the Grizzlies did is they got a high draft pick, and they got Zach Edey. And could he be their Dereck Lively? He's not the same type of player, but could he be what they need at that spot to be just a big dude that could get some rebounds and to kind of push Jaren Jackson Jr. into his right role?
Yeah, that's going to be really fun to see as well. Jalen Noel got 17 minutes a game on their team last year. Man.
Just go look at their roster and like their like games played. Actually, their total roster, they had 33 players play for them last season, which I think was a record, right?
Yeah, that has to be a record. There's no way that's not a record. That's insane.
And everybody played at least 3 games.
If you have good injury luck, that's like double what like a good injury luck team would have over the course of a season.
Well, you get 15 players on a roster, so it's double a roster.
You say maybe you get really lucky injury wise, and you have like 16 or 17 guys over the course of a season. But that's great.
Insane. Yeah, the Grizzlies are somebody that's a team I'm watching, and to me, as far as a threat, I think they could be right up there because I think they're going to have a lot to prove. I think their defense is going to be insane with Jaren Jackson, Marcus. We haven't really seen Jaren Jackson and Marcus Smart that much together.
True.
Like that combo is 2 defensive player of the year, or Jaren Jackson hasn't won one, but like defensive player of the year candidates. And
yeah, he did.
He did win one?
Yeah. He was the defending defensive player of the year last year.
I blocked that one out of my brain. Yes. So you got
two blocks. Remember they had that whole thing where they were saying that they lied about the blocks.
Oh yeah, the whole Reddit post about did they lie about the block? I forgot about that. Yeah. So you got 2 defensive player of the years there with them. I think they could be a threat. I don't think they'd be a threat in the playoffs. I think once you get to the playoffs, we talked about the Mavs being a tested team and all that. And I think they're more tested than the Grizzlies. But in the regular season, the Grizzlies will lap up a bunch of wins. Though one thing I'm looking at with them is like okay, Ja Morant is out. All right, who runs their offense? And that's really what sunk them last year.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about guys that need to be healthy that just really have struggled in the past to stay healthy.
Yeah.
You know, like John Morant hasn't been the, picture of health necessarily over the course of a full season.
Well, he's been suspended. He's been suspended.
Suspended, but also has dealt with injuries here and there, and he is a scary player to watch. Like he's incredibly fun. I agree with you. Like the Grizzlies are a fun basketball team, so I do hope that they're healthy and good.
John Morant,
but the way that he plays is
true or false? John Morant is what we hoped Dennis Smith Jr. would turn into.
I don't think anyone had that high of expectations.
But like the highest lofty, we were like, all right, if he could turn.
Yeah, the athleticism and just the insane in-game dunks from like a 6'2" guard.
And just to get into the rim and the leadership. And you hope that. Sigh. Coming up, let's talk about who can make a leap next season. Which young players across the league can take a leap. I've got a couple of players, and then I've got a couple other things I want to share that I'm excited to see next season too.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds and things that you can use to get in on the action, but we have something else to tell you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. That means with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out of market game, all of them. And you're sitting there and you're like, which stream do I need to watch? You can do it on YouTube TV with the NFL Sunday Ticket with this 3-week free trial. Visit FanDuel.com. It's America's #1 sportsbook. They also have a bunch of other stuff. They have NBA futures. They have WNBA odds. If you want to still check out some of that kind of stuff, they have stuff for, the Cowboys this weekend. Right now, we're recording this a little early in the week. Cowboys are a 1.5 point underdog at home against the Ravens. So that one's interesting. Go check out that. See what they have available. Again, it's FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Slightly, we're talking about things we're excited to see. I'm excited to see the next player to take a big leap. You got anybody in mind that could take a big leap next season?
I am keeping my eyes peeled on the Thompson twins. Which is funny.
Clay and Trace, right?
Yeah, Clay and Trace Thompson.
Trace Thompson played for the Dodgers.
Yeah. Is he still on the Dodgers?
I don't know. I don't think he used to.
Was he good? I honestly never knew if he was good or not. Let's see. Oh, he's still playing. Good for him.
Trace Thompson with a Y, by the way.
Yeah.
He played.
Oh, he's on the White Sox. Yeah.
He's on the White Sox last season, looks like.
Oh, okay. So he's not on the White Sox this year. Good for him.
2023. I'm guessing that's last year.
That is. This is 2024. So
numerical
1 year
wise,
ago would be 2023. So yeah, last year. The Thompson twins, who I honestly didn't even really like that much coming out of the draft, just because a lot of people said they had there was people who draft people whose opinions I actually really respect, who were saying that the Thompson twins could have the highest ceiling in the draft, including Victor Wembanyama. Like there was a world where if things went right for them, that they would become these just transcendent athletes who have point guard skills, are incredible defenders, and athletes that just cannot be matched in the NBA. And I don't think they're ever going to reach that, obviously. But
you don't think?
My God, those two defensively are very, very good. And I think it gets buried because the Pistons obviously were terrible last year, and the Rockets, Amin Thompson, just weird kind of fit in the rotation with how many guys they have, and that could still be a problem for them this upcoming season. But I'm pretty excited to see what leaps they make, mainly offensively.
It's interesting with some of these uber athletic players that sometimes you see them their game could go in any direction, right? Where all of a sudden you go, oh, how are they doing that? They're doing this. They added a 3-point shot, or they are an incredible passer in the open court or something like that. And those guys can do some of those things. Their shooting has just been abominable. So yeah, people are hoping that they add that, but they could go a whole bunch of different directions. You can use them as a 4, you can use them as a point guard, you can use them as in a bunch of different ways. And yeah, I'm interested to see them. I don't know if I'm excited to see them next season, but I am interested in them a little.
I'm pumped. I'm excited for the Pistons in general. They're one of my would be one of my league pass bad teams that I fall in love with. I love.
I'm excited to see somebody take a leap, like a Brunson, SGA. Somebody will do that next season. You got any names? I got one that stand out to me.
What are you saying? Leap from Oh, I didn't know this guy had like an all-star appearance in him.
Yeah, like role player, and you're like, okay, we feel like we know who this guy is, and then all of a sudden they take this leap, and you go, oh, yeah, this could be fringe all-star. Lowry Markkanen a couple years ago, where you go, okay, he's like, kind of a fringe starter, he's playing at 3, and all of a sudden you go, oh, dang, all of a sudden he's got this in him. Jalen Johnson for the Hawks is a guy that stands out to me because he's going to get a bunch of opportunity now with DeJounte Murray gone and their team in shambles.
Yeah. He will get a good amount of opportunity. I mean, he was really good last year before he got hurt.
Yeah. Kuminga, I think, has a chance with the Warriors.
I'm so just like, I'm out on the Kuminga experience. If he busts out, then great. I've just been waiting for it for so long, I feel like.
Kuminga, you know how old Kuminga is?
He's like 24, isn't he?
He turns 22 on October 6th.
He turns 22?
Yes.
He's 21?
He's 21 years old. That's the thing about Kuminga. Is like we expect all this from him. And he averaged 16 points a game last season, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, played 26 minutes, still was playing with Curry and Draymond and Chris Paul and Clay and like all those guys taking up shots and taking up minutes and usage and all that. Like I think he's going to have an opportunity to, like, this is the shot. This is your shot, man. Like, show me what you got. And I'm
he
curious.
Wants a max.
I'm curious. Yeah, he wants that, and we'll see if he can prove that he can get one.
All right, well, a couple names. Before the Olympics, I would have thrown Nikola Jovic was going to be my most improved player pick.
That's a good one.
But the Olympics scared me quite a bit. Now they were saying that he was sick and he was a little bit hurt, but man, he got to the point where he was not playing for Serbia by the end of it. So that worries me a little tiny bit that the leap might not be there. How about when I watch the Rockets, there are moments with Jabari Smith Jr. where it's like, God, that you see it. 6'10", can shoot, can defend.
There was a game, I don't think it was last year, it was the year before, where Jabari Smith made just like 15 elbow jumpers against the Mavs. You remember that game?
Yeah.
And I looked at Jackson Gatlin, who's our Locked On Rockets host, and I was like, I think Jabari Smith is the best young player on the Rockets, and I think he will be the best one because he just has the most amount of skills like that. Now, Şengün has obviously been better, and Jalen Green is now in a contract year and trying to figure out what they're going to do with him. But I think Jabari Smith could still rise if that mid-range jumper steps up in a way. You're like, oh, that's a big guy, defense first, and then, get his own shot like that.
Yeah, I mean, I could. It's hard to predict. That was the thing about the Markkanen one because that was just like okay. Wild. I mean, we knew Markkanen had like you saw flashes with Markkanen, and if you never watched him before, you would see like the dunks and stuff and be like, whoa, I didn't know he was like that athletic. And that's not even like a white guy trope. It's
would you say he was sneaky athletic?
I mean, he is like uber athletic. Like it goes beyond just like hey, he could jump high. It's like, oh, that guy's actually an insane athlete. I'm teetering on whether or not I want to say Cade Cunningham can make an all NBA team this year.
Wow.
I think it's possible.
You really bought into the Pistons.
I will buy anybody's Cade Cunningham stocks if they're selling them.
Can I share with you some Schadenfreude excited NBA things where it's like I'm excited to watch the demise of others?
I was gonna say, explain to me what that means, and then I'll go.
Schadenfreude is when you're excited to see something bad happen to somebody else.
Okay, you're on your hater agenda.
This is my hater agenda.
Okay.
The first time Paul George fails really hard in a big moment in front of Philly fans and has to go on his podcast the next day.
Why did I know that it was going to be something Philadelphia Sixers related? There's just something about that franchise that everyone just loves dunking on.
Well, because they've set themselves up so hard this season talking about Paul George like, I want it. I want the hate. He's played for Indiana Pacers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the LA Clippers. Like he has not played in front of these crazy fans like that are his own team yet.
Man, I'm so fortunate that we're so lucky there's no Mavericks players with reoccurring podcasts.
Oh yeah. Theo Pinson's the closest one we got.
That's active roster, big minute contributors. How about that?
I'm excited to see the first time that the Pacers play this version of the Suns.
That'll be fun.
I think they can score 150 points against them.
Dude, the Suns won't be the worst defense in the league.
No, but I don't think they'll be good. It's more about the Suns.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm excited. You're excited about the Pistons. I'm excited to see the first game Tim Hardaway Jr. makes 5 threes and Pistons fans talk themselves into him.
Yeah, But I mean, if you're a Pistons fan, it's like, oh, can we turn this guy into like a late first at the trade deadline?
Yeah, you'd love to, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Wouldn't you?
that would be the goal.
Schadenfreude NBA excited list. I'm excited to see the Clippers decline.
I was just about to say the Clippers. I actually thought about the Clippers being my most interested thing, my most interested team I'm most interested in, or one of them. Not that I think they'll be good. I just cannot wait to see how it plays out because they should be really good defensively. Like they should actually be a great defensive team
If Kawhi's healthy.
if Kawhi's healthy. Even if he's out, they'll be a good defensive team. But if he's out, they might score 70 points a game.
Yeah, it's Harden and Zubats.
It's Grandpa Harden. And,
Yeah.
I mean, is Derek Jones Jr. going to be taking double-digit shots a game? Like, what's going to be happening there?
I'm Schadenfreude excited to see the Pelicans slowly realize they don't have a center.
That won't be slowly. I have to imagine that would be very quickly.
This is not even Schadenfreude, but I am excited to see the Mavs Timberwolves matchup for Gobert. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
one.
This is what makes when your team's good in the playoffs, and then when you have actual wars, and this is what it's awesome about having a guy like Luka too, who's going to talk trash.
Yes.
Is you get the fun rivalries.
Yes.
You get the bad blood. You feel it.
Do you have any Schadenfreude or do you have any hater NBA things?
I've really made a concerted effort over the years to stop hate watching in sports, and it has made my sports viewing experience a lot better. And I will say that
still something in there though. There's still somebody.
there is. I mean, the Clippers ones. It's more so like out of pure interest. Like I have this Monday morning. It's when the NFL season comes around. It's a tried and true sort of part of my routine. Monday morning, I go on every NFL team that lost. I go on their subreddits and I just read it. It's just interesting to me. It's not like I'm like, yes, I'm so happy they're miserable. It's more just like interesting. I'm more interested to see how everyone reacts to losses.
Yeah, because everybody blames something, and then the fan base groupthink wise all like decides to blame something. And
yeah,
and,
I mean, what would be the funniest looking at these teams? What would be the funniest team if you're gonna look at it this way to have like a season from hell? The Sixers would be funny.
I mean, for us personally, for the fan base that we've had to interact with, it's the Thunder.
I know. I was thinking about. I'm thinking like somewhat realistic. The Thunder would have to have like a disaster season for them to have like
it would have to be really. With the Celtics, is there anything there?
If they get like 53 wins or something.
They kind of had one a couple years ago when they went like 500.
Yeah. I mean, people forget that 2022 season when the Mavs made the conference finals, them and the Celtics had like identical seasons.
Yeah, that's
where they were like 500 at the same time and then just went on a tear to end the season. Like the Bucks. I mean, if they have another weird season from hell, that one's just interesting from a basketball fan's perspective because that could get weird.
That's interesting from a Bucks ownership perspective because do we want to pay another coach?
Do we want to pay another coach? Does Giannis say, hey, I'm out? I don't think so.
I did see a rumor.
Oh, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
The Giannis thing to the Mavs is fake. Don't these. Do not believe these social media bait accounts.
Please
that have no sources that just say things. Come on.
What was it? Schadenfreude?
Schadenfreude. It's
Schadenfreude.
It's a German term.
You gotta be. I mean, what are we giving the Lakers? If the Lakers start what? Do we get the JJ Redick hate?
0-5.
0-5. Oh, I'll take it. I'll go 0-2. They got to win one of their first two games.
They lose their first two games, and Bronny plays in both of them.
Oh, yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. They could go 80-2, but if they lose the first two games, I just feel like he's never going to recover.
I'll never financially recover from this.
What is their – I think their first two games are tough, if I remember correctly. Minnesota and Phoenix.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Minnesota, Phoenix, Sacramento, Phoenix, Cleveland.
Yeah, that's a tough starting. That's 0-5 right there.
Oh, man, 0-5 would be crazy.
There you go. Let us know in the comment section on YouTube and Spotify what you're most excited to see from the Dallas Mavericks this season. Go check out Slightly Biased YouTube channel where he does some great stuff streaming about the entire NBA like this. And go answer our survey on board bets and things like that. We put a link in the description. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.
Detroit basketball.